Friends, family, to welcome our Vice Chancellor, Professor Rushila Nolundi Songa, our Executive Deans, Professor Ndlovu, Professor Nguzamduba, Dr. Mpiti, Prof. Manoj, and of course, our very important guest today, Professor Giselle Ma. I was very tempted there to try my French, Prof, but not today. And let me say welcome to the family, the Ncanywa family, and the family of, the other family members that have attended that might not necessarily be Ncanywa. The students, of course, on the campus, executive management of the university, and let me say all protocol observed colleagues so that I have all my bases covered. I'm not going to welcome you. You are going to be officially welcomed by an individual that is assigned to that. But of course, I like to brag a little bit, if I may borrow our Vice Chancellor's words, that let me just take a minute maybe to brag. So we are in this beautiful venue, ladies and gents, colleagues, friends. I last saw a venue like this when I visited the States in Atlanta, Georgia, in America. I've not seen a world-class venue as it is, and I hope the pictures are being depicted there to demonstrate that really Walter Sisulu University is a university that is on the upward trajectory in terms of our infrastructure, in terms of how we are trying to be innovative, in terms of what we're trying to be impactful, in as far as what we do within our communities. I'm very fortunate that I grew up here in Butterworth, so I'm not saying hearsay. It's a first of its kind, and I'm thoroughly sure, or I'm sure that we will thoroughly enjoy these facilities going forward, and they will change the lives of our people that are based here. So thank you very much, ladies and gents. I'm now just going to invite our Vice Chancellor, of course, Professor Rushila Nolundi Songa, to really just welcome you so that you all feel at home. We have not been asked to take off our jackets yet. Maybe that's going to come right now. Ladies and gents, please help me welcome Professor Songa to the podium. Thank you very much.
Oh my word. Yes, now I'm tall. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Molweni. Let me first acknowledge and welcome Professor Ncanywa's family, because I'm sure that they were and still are part of your journey. Being here, it's a long, rewarding journey. So I would like to welcome your family. And also I'd like to welcome your friends, our colleagues, and I see that we have also invited our students, and of course our choir, the management team that's here to give you the support. And ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today, it's a day of celebration. We celebrate in the main your academic journey, one. We also celebrate your contribution to the knowledge that contributes to the upliftment of our societies and that enables us to better understand all the problems that we encounter in this century. It is an important day that also ushers you to the highest echelons of academia. So as WSU, we are proud to welcome you as a full professor in the Faculty of Education and also at WSU. You have achieved what every academic aspires to achieve. I said when I started that it's a long, long journey. Yes, it is, but you don't even realize it once you embark upon that journey. And I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say at times it's a journey where you need to make certain sacrifices. It might be lonely at times. You have to choose between this journey and your family and your friends, and at times even your students. It is a symbol of your contribution to knowledge, its generation, its dissemination, and its application. And in addition to that, and as a testament to your contribution to knowledge, I would like to share the fact that, in case some people are not aware, that we are eagerly awaiting your NRF results, and we hope that very soon we'll be celebrating you again as an NRF-rated researcher. I always tell my colleagues that since 2021, we have embarked upon a journey of excellence where, as Black academics, and especially as women, we need to show that we can do what our male counterparts are able to do, and even better. In as much as we say we live in the century in 2024, we know that women still struggle. We have to work doubly hard. We're always undermined. We're always looked upon with distrust, etc. The list is endless. Undermined at times by our male counterparts, because for some reason they think that we do not have the brain that they're endowed with. So that I'm equally as competent as you are. So, Professor Ncanywa, we welcome you to the highest echelons of academia. We welcome your family so that they can witness firsthand, and your friends will be listening intently to your inaugural lecture. And I also want Professor, I wrote the name, Giselle, as your respondent today. Ladies and gentlemen, you are most welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor, for welcoming us. Okay, just trying to make myself a little bit short there. Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor, for welcoming us. I'm sure now we all feel pretty relaxed, and we look forward to Prof. Ncanywa's, speech. But before we do that, I'm going to invite Professor Ndlovu, who is an Executive Dean of Law, Humanities, and Social Science, to do an introduction of Inaugural Professor. There's a slight change on our program, colleagues. So please help me welcome Professor Ndlovu to the stage.
Program Director, Professor Ncanywa, Vice Chancellor and Principal, Prof. Rashila Songa, our academic respondent, Prof. Giselle Ma, Executive Deans here present, professors, guests, staff, and students. Allow me to introduce Professor Thobeka Ncanywa, even though she does not need much of an introduction, given the positive reputation she has garnered at Walter Sisulu University. My desire, Professor Ncanywa, would be that you stand here, if you could. and face our audience. Thank you so much. Professor Ncanywa obtained a joint Doctor of Commerce degree between University of Fort Hare and the University of Cape Town in 2015. Her thesis title was An Analysis of Schooling Outcomes in the Eastern Cape Using Production Function Approach. She did a master's degree at the University of Fort Hare in 2010, which she obtained cum laude. I thought she joined WSU in 2021 as Professor of Economics. Subsequently, she served as Acting Senior Director in the Directorate of Research and Innovation, and currently is Acting Director in the Postgraduate Directorate. Before joining WSU, Prof. Ncanywa worked at the University of Limpopo as Senior Lecturer and Associate Professor, and earlier at the University of Fort Hare as a lecturer. Between 1993 and 2012, Prof. Ncanywa worked as an educator in the Department of Basic Education. So you can see where her passion for education comes from, especially student success. Amongst her achievements are the following. In 1999, she was UNISA's Best Chemistry 2 student and was awarded an ISCO bursary for that. In 2004, she was a provincial finalist in the Maths and Science Teacher of the Year Award, sponsored by Telkom and Sowetan. So like the VC was saying, this is proof that women are equally capable. And this is mathematics we are talking about, and science. In the same year, in 2004, she scored 99% in Statistics 1, which she was studying towards at Fort Hare. There was only 1% left for her to totalize. In 2008, she obtained a 100% learner pass rate in physical science at Z.K. Matthews Senior Secondary School. And obviously, this is no mean feat given the low pass rates in science and mathematics in the Eastern Cape. So you can see the stature of the lady in front of us today. In 2019, she was the best female researcher at the University of Limpopo. So, as can be seen from the theme of her lecture today, Prof. Ncanywa works in the area of entrepreneurship, where she has published extensively in the form of conference proceedings, journal articles, and book chapters. She has also presented at local and international conferences where her papers have been well received. Regarding professional affiliation, Prof. Ncanywa has been a member of the Skills Development Selection Committee of the organization called Economic Research of Southern Africa since 2013. From 2020 to date, she has sat and continues to sit on the board of directors in Economic Research of Southern Africa. From 2021 to 2023, she was non-executive board member of the Public Administration and Development Alternatives, and this is an international academic organization aimed at promoting quality scholarship and academic networking across all continents. Prof. Ncanywa has supervised at least 20 honors students, 19 masters, and 2 PhDs. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Professor Thobeka Ncanywa, whom we look forward to hearing from on a lecture titled Building Sustainable Economies, Navigating Contemporary Issues in Finance, Economic Complexity, and Entrepreneurship Development.
Thank you very much. I wish that when it's my inaugural lecture one day, you'll still be around, Professor Ndlovu. You know, you pause so nicely in between, like you are reading for children to put them to bed right away. Thank you very much for that, Professor Ndlovu. You really did justice to that task. Colleagues, without wasting time, I'm going to invite our choir. Oh, they're already, oh, they know the drill. Okay, over to you, choir. There we go. Lovely, beautiful, what a lovely sound. I'm sure that now, Professor Ncanywa, it gives you butterflies in your stomach. But you know what, knowing you, Prof. Ncanywa, you are ready for this, aren't you? Yes, you are. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Professor Ncanywa to the stage. Yeah, beautiful.
Good afternoon. Let me start by greeting the Chancellor of Sisulu University, Ms. Koboto, Chairperson of Council, Advocate Ngukaitobi, Honorable Council members, Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Nolundi Songa, Executive and Senior Management. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and colleagues, members of academic and administrative community at large, and our dear students, Let me start by expressing my gratitude for your presence and support. I'm truly honored to see you come in numbers and witness this momentous day with me. I'm really, really touched. We are gathered today to inaugurate my academic journey devoted to the topic called Building Sustainable Economies, where we are going to navigate contemporary issues in finance, economic complexity, and entrepreneurship development. Professor Song, please allow me to acknowledge the journey with my family first, and in my language. Thank you, Prof. Ndineziduko zithathu endifuna ukuziphakamisa apha namhlanje. Ndizawucela baphakame ngokwezi ziduko zithathu. Esokuqala isiduko sisiduko esize apha, which is my family, eze ngogebane, ombanjwa, othikazi, omavusi, ompethwana. Sisiduko sakulo mamam eso, ndiyakubona phaa Brantafu. Sisiduko sakulo mamam, that's where I'm coming from. Esesibini isiduko sesasekhaya esisakwaDlamini. Mabaphakame abantu bakwaDlamini. Ndicela ke oDlamini ingabi ngaba baninzi oDlamini apha. Uba kukho into ekudibanisa noDlamini uphakame. Vuyelwa. Aphakame oDlamini in the house. Bonke abantu abadibana ngesi siduko soDlamini baphakame. Ndicela ume Thobeka. This is my only surviving brother. Ningambone emkhulu uzapha emva kwam. KuDlamini omkhulu lo lizize elikhulu eliya. Into emamaxhantini nasemazizini. Into ethi xa sikunzima kuthi kwezi ndawo siphangela kuzo sihambe siyokhala pha kuyi athi bhinqa ntombi sekhaya sibheke ebuhlanti. Kuma yena. Inkosi iDlamini ngoba khona kumcimbi wami. Hlala phansi. Isiduko sesithathu sesindendele kuso. SakwaChonyane. Ndendele koDikiza. Cela baphakame bonke oChonyane. Nabantu abasondele kwesi siduko sikaChonyane ngoba sisiduko sesithathu endisibizayo apha. Phakama kabini Butsoli. Phakama kabini Butsoli. Phakama kabini ngoba ndizalana nawe kabini unguDlamini kodwa ulapha eMachonyaneni. Enkosi kakhulu uMachonyane. Ndicela ke ningahlala phansi ngaphandle kwale immediate family yam. Ndifuna uintroduce to everybody. Ngonyana bam aba ababini. Yi-firstborn le uAyavuya. Kangangoba utata wakhe kuthiwa ngutata kaAya ngenxeni yakhe. The last born uYanda. Uyayifosela kathi hayi utata ngutata kaUyi. Ngenxeni yoba yena enguUyanda. Inkosi bonyana bam. Okugqibela ndizawuphakamisa umyeni wam. Phakama God. Enkosi kakhulu nguMr Ncanywa ke lo undenze ndana lesename kaNcanywa ngoba eyasekhaya nguNqwatha. So ndafumana ke very nice pha eMachonyaneni. Ndim ke lo utshatileyo apha. I want to thank him for the support because if I can tell you, I met him without even 1 degree. I only had a secondary teacher's diploma that my parents took me to. But even when I was graduating my Bachelor of Science from UNISA, he was there. And all my degrees, my BCom degrees, I started my BCom degree while already married to him. So he took me to this journey. Although he did not rush to marry me. I had to use some tricks so that he marries me. Some of those tricks is because I am sleep talking, like I'm sleep talking, and then I said, yes, yes, I'll marry you, yes, yes, I'll marry you. And the last one is when he proposed ultimately, and then he refused to go to the reverend, though I go myself now to the reverend. Now, the reverend asked, where is the man who's marrying? I said, no, he does not have time, and I've got time for this marriage. Thank you very much. That's why Sisi Nzondi, she's sitting there, when things were tough in the marriage. So, I took my things, then Sisi Nzondi phoned me and said, don't you remember when you went to the reverend? Please come back. So I had to come back. Thank you very much, Prof, for allowing me to express that. All right, colleagues, let me get to my inaugural speech. Thank you very much, Prof, for that welcoming here. It has got a lot of meaning to me, and I think you were very spot on to exactly what this day is, because other people don't know how hard it is to be where we are. Thank you very much, Prof. Right. Now, colleagues, my topic is 3 ways. There is economic complexity, and there is entrepreneurship. Sometimes they overlap. It's about them. Let me start with the one of finance issues. So, all my research is based on sustainable development goals. And the sustainable development goals, the sustainable development goals, you can see them on the booklet. They are on page 15. So when you look at page 15, you will see that we have got 17 sustainable development goals. So most of my in fact, all my contributions are based on addressing some or sometimes a group of those sustainable development goals. So when I'm looking at the issues of navigating finance issues, I'm looking at the sustainable goal number 7, which is affordable and clean energy. And then I'm also looking at sustainable development goal number 8, which is decent work and economic growth. I am also looking at National Development Plan, Vision 2030 of South Africa, which is also on the same page 15. So when you see there, I will just quote sometimes which National Development Plan am I focusing on. So for this slide, I'm focusing on efficient public sector. Right? Then there is also an improvement in the issue of economy, which is Agenda 2063. From Agenda 2063, I think you can turn the next page there. On page 16, you will see I've just extracted. Agenda 2063 is a long thing, but I've just extracted what is important for my presentation, which is for this slide of navigating finance issues. I'm dealing with transformed economies, where it deals with sustainable and inclusive growth. So a number of these investigations that are written below are referring to addressing these problems that are in the SDGs and also in the NDP and also in Agenda 2063. I am an economist, it has been said. And as an economist, we run econometric techniques. So, most of my papers, most people will be able to read introduction, literature review, and conclusion. because the methodology is including econometrics. So when you look at the methodologies that are navigating the finance issues here, you will see all of them listed there. The vector error correction model, autoregressive distributive lag, the Granger causality, impulse, all of them are listed there in the slides. And then now, I've just picked from my publications some of the issues that are more on finance. And the general rule here is that as an economist, you need to give guidance on how the economy should perform. In other words, in economics, we predict the future. We use these methodologies. They will tell us if something has a long-run relationship. And once there is a long-run relationship between variables, then as economists, we are happy because we can give or we can inform policy. And say, I will just make examples. So these investigations that are written here are examples of ways that we can navigate the finance issues using those methodologies. Right. So if you look at the first investigation, which looks at the fuel levies. So here we are looking more on taxation. We are looking more because the fuel levies are the tax that are paid by people that are using cars and all those things. So the investigation was about, can this boost any economy? Yes, because the government, when they set the standards of fuel taxes, they set them in a way that it boosts the economy. However, the government needs to be sensitive when putting fuel levies, because as much as it can have a positive impact on economic growth, however, in households. Then when you look at the microcredit finance and unemployment, here we are checking, and this is more related to entrepreneurship, because the small businesses, at some stage, when we teach entrepreneurship, as much as we say, my students, some are here that I've taught entrepreneurship, as much as we say, let's start with the issue of bootstrapping. Bootstrapping means that you start capital with what you have. Maybe you are baking cakes, and your cakes now you use your mother's stove. That is what you have. Then you are bootstrapping there. But while you are doing that, you collect money to the bank, and to the bank, you are building your own profile so that you can benefit to micro-lending or microcredit finance. Because microcredit finance is borrowing. And once you have a small business and you borrow, then your business will have more capital from borrowing. And then now it means you can open more opportunities of employment because your business is also growing. That's how the issue of microcredit finance can work in entrepreneurship. However, it does not end there. The issue of microcredit lending can also be done by households on themselves without having businesses. You can go and make a loan and try to get a microcredit loan whereby you can buy yourself a house, things like that one. But the more you engage in issues of microcredit finance, there is a link between that one and unemployment. And we have used some of those methodologies to prove that. Then public debt and investment. I know, Prof. Ma, that is your area of specialization. Right? Now, public debt here, what we are looking at, the government now, the government is borrowing. Remember, colleagues, there are two sources of income for the government. The government is using taxes. And also, when the taxes are not enough, the government is going to borrow. And once the government borrow, we refer to that as public debt. So once we engage into public debt, so there's nothing wrong with public debt that the government borrows from banks like also the monetary, like World Bank, all those banks that are IMF, the government will borrow there. But what is important is that is the government able to service the debt? That is the key now. Because once the government doesn't service the debt, then the government is going to fail. And what I've learned from issues of public debt, especially in America, what they do when they borrow money and when they invest that money, they invest, in fact, even when they collect money from tax, they are going to invest that money back to where they've collected the money. If the tax is on roads, then the money is going to make roads. So what is lacking for our country is that we are collecting money, we are borrowing money, but we put under one basket. And then we distribute from that basket from the Minister of Finance. Unfortunately now, even if the transport industry is making a lot of money, that money does not do the transport sector. It will go elsewhere. So that's how our government does things. Right. Financial market development and investment activities. Colleagues, here we have tried to prove that in South Africa, we are one, especially in Africa. South Africa is leading in issues of financial market development. Our financial markets, like stock market, like credit market, like money market, are leading in our continent at large. And here we have tried to prove that if this financial market development can be enhanced, how is it going to improve our investment? Because there is a direct link between investment and economic growth. And therefore, immediately we boost investment, we are going to boost our economy. Hence, we are building economies here through finance. Therefore, the government has a responsibility to have stability and growth in terms of financial market development. Professor Song, let me brag about this one. Oil prices and exchange rate movements on oil and gas stock return. Here, we are talking about issues of oil and prices and all that. I'm not going to be technical here. What I'm bragging about here is that I did this study with my master student. And then I wanted to brag in this way. This is one example of a student who's grow your own timber. Because this student is Dr. Molele. And now, I have supervised him from honors. Then this study was master's. Then he also graduated PhD under my supervision. So this is an example of grow your own. Tell you what is beautiful about this grow your own timber, Dr. Molele. I started with him at honors, and then there was a competition for postgraduate. I've trained him. I've boosted him and make sure that his study is well to enter the competition. Then he entered the competition. He got the first prize. And ever since I was there, all my students were getting first prize in that competition every year. Until Dr. Molele beat me. Because now he supervised students, then he took students, and then his student was number 1 and mine was number 3. And then I was like, you are beating the boss now. That's why I'm bragging about this grow your own timber. It shows that the skills I've shared with him, he is also sharing them with other students. I've got a number. If you can look at my CV, I've got a number, and you count how many times Molele comes there. You will see what I'm talking about. We have written papers. We have made sure that even from his honors, that paper that he won the competition is published. in an accredited journal. Right. Now let me move to remittances. Colleagues, remittances refers to those monies that we gain and we take them home. So it refers to people that are international, and these international people, they come and work in South Africa, and then they take the money home. So that money is called remittances. I know there's xenophobia in the country, but the studies have proved that the remittances have improved the trade in the country. And that trading, come here and send remittances home, they are also capacitating our country. And therefore, we have proved that the issue of remittances, we should be very much